This Meditainment production is brought to you today by the Samurai Aquatics and Decor Metaventure. Scan that QR code or click that link in the description and dive yourself headfirst into the Samurai Aquatics Discord server to pleasure your peepers on our current and future range of outdoor decor.
The Whine and Cheese show is a Metaverse and NFT discussion and interview series brought to you by Metaverse Ventures Entertainment and host BEN68 and Morecheese. Warning: the information and opinions within are solely the views of the individuals involved and contains content not suitable for anyone.
G'day and thanks for listening to or watching the Whine and Cheese and the Metaverses show. I'm BEN68 here with my Morecheese co-host for episode number 73, recording on Friday the 24th of February for Cheese, which is Saturday the 25th for me.
Today we talked a lot about the new and cool stuff happening in Upland, and it is a lot. YouTube is looking into getting meta with it, getting jiggy with it. All right, cartoon dinosaurs and metaverse courtrooms. What? And we had an amazing guest, Moonunit, a rapidly emerging Unity spatial overlord.
Oh yeah, he's meta guilty as charged. So get ready to ride on him with us for a glimpse into the future in the latest super shitty episode of
Super Shitty. The worst show ever.
Whine and cheese. Time for wine and cheese. Wine and cheese. Time for wine and cheese. Cheese.
One is a wanker, one's like it stunts. One's from Australia, one's from the Bronx. Talking about the Metaverse and NFTs. Interviewing all the real crypto G's.
Yes.
Hello, welcome to Whine and Cheese and the Metaverses show.
Oh my
I'm
God.
Morecheese, my co-host BEN68, and we have Moonunit on as our guest. Hello, Moonunit.
Hello.
This is episode 73.
Long time coming. What do we call them? The Mve Superlords or something? What is it?
We should.
Yeah, we should now. We will now.
Yeah, I like the ring of that.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So we're just going to dive straight into it today. We got a whole bunch of stuff to cover. I had a look last night. There wasn't a lot of articles around last night. Cheese had a look this morning and found a couple of things that we'll dive into. But first up, there's just an absolute shed load of Upland news. Of course, most of it all dropped just after we finished recording the UDU podcast. As soon as I think I closed down that Zoom, suddenly there was all these announcements. I was like, oh,
I know.
conspiracy.
They're like,
So,
oh,
yes.
their thing is over. Let's put the announcement.
Yeah, let's put all the juice out now.
Upland.
But luckily for us, we've got two shows, so we can cover it all. All right, first up, we did have another MB Modus car sale. We did talk about that a little bit on the UDU podcast. How'd you go, Cheese? Did you manage to get anything?
No.
No.
I would have liked one of the vans, but
Yep. Moon, any luck?
Yeah, I scored a car.
Ooh.
The 2E
Nice.
candy red.
nice.
Nice.
It looks like it's
I-
smiling there with their little teeth.
It does, yeah, like what's that? The Cars movie, Lightning McQueen.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like
Yeah,
it.
I had no luck again. I've entered every single one, and as Cheese keeps reminding me, was lucky enough to get a semi-trailer. But as far as car goes, now I've had to buy all mine on the secondary. So
Those
Yeah.
trailers go for like $1,000. Like
Now,
no
yeah.
money.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
I had
nearly-
a chance.
Go ahead, mate.
I was just gonna say I had a chance one time to buy one. I should have.
Yeah.
I decided not to.
There.
Yeah.
Ben
Yeah,
almost,
right.
Ben almost didn't. Tell him the story, Ben.
Well, I almost didn't because I was like, Sky Baby Blue or whatever the hell it is. Yuck, I don't want
Mhm.
that one.
And I'm like, you
Then-
better fucking buy it.
And then in the back end, we realized, it's going to be working for Samurai Aquatics. The sky blue, the watery color
Right.
makes perfect sense. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have been kicking myself if I had passed up on it. But yeah, I almost I bought a bunch on the secondary markets, and I almost pulled the pin on buying a 1E. I wanted a yellow 1E, but there's the going rate for the Upex price was like 1.2 million or something. And then I figured I'd go and buy. I bought a 2R and another car, and it was like 500k. So
yeah. I just take it as it comes now. If I luck up and get in on the mint price, that's good enough. It just is what it is.
Yes. All right. So I don't think we need to dive into that too much. Yeah, it's good to see.
It went fast. It went really fast. There was no straggling. It was a good thing. Yeah.
It's actually been interesting because I've been keeping an eye on the markets, and now, of course, you have 500 something cars flood the markets. All the prices start to creep down a little bit, and there has actually been a lot of bulk deals. I nearly pulled the pin on a bulk deal. I think it was like 6 cars for 1.2 million.
Wow.
It wasn't like there was no like 1E or anything like that in the mix, but still, there is some really good deals out there if you do a bit of shopping around. But be aware, there's still plenty of scammers about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for shops if I sell anything.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So we'll move on from that one. Next up, it's going to reload again. I think this is the Sao Paulo. Yeah. How'd you go with Sao Paulo?
It wasn't bad. Like I wasn't expecting to buy as much as I did. I was able to get like 15. I spent 250k. I'm happy with it. I didn't want to go too crazy. I have a few things on sale for US, like I think USD. So we'll see if I get it. I'm on a big USD trying to get enough to buy a Spark.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. Yes. How about you, Moon? Did you head over?
I set this one out. It's the first city I've ever set out, and it was because I cleared everything for buying the car.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a tricky one because the car thing was right before it.
Yeah, I think I set out Buenos Aires, but I thought, she's kind of talked me into this one. So I got up and I was at the airport terminal, and I went to, I set my alarm at 2:55 a.m. It all kicks off at 3 a.m. my time. So I went to mint a property, and it's like, you can't mint from where you are. I'm like, oh crap. So I had to get on the train. Like, it's only a 2-minute train ride, but apparently there's a whole bunch of people were caught in the same situation. But by the time they went to do it, the train terminals were all burnt out.
Oh wow.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So no, I was lucky. I mean, that's neighborhood, I forget the name of it, where the train terminal is, that was all gone by the time I got there.
I think.
Yeah, that was all gone, but I had no trouble. I jumped around and bought a few properties here and there, and I did have a 200k budget. I think I only spent like 80k, and I'm like, meh, I'm only buying stuff because it's here.
Nice.
So I just got back on the train and back on the plane and got the hell out of there. So
that's what I did on the last city release. It was like that.
Yeah.
I bought 3 and got out.
Yeah.
There were so many really inexpensive secondhand sales. Like, it's almost like if you don't really want to spend that much, you could just pick it up like that if you just want to have like the 3 in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I looked at some of those because I still had budget there, and I thought, oh, should I just pick up my, I was looking, maybe I'll get 3 at around the 37, 39, 40k mark for the generic collection. But then I figured, well, I'll just wait on the back end, because there's always those big properties around once they do expansions and whatnot. So same with Buenos Aires. I'll just wait and see what the collections are. Wait till it all flushes out a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might get lucky.
I don't like this whole super restrictive, only releasing 3 neighborhoods. Like, they're essentially forcing a neighborhood. Like, why? Forcing a sellout. Why?
Yeah.
Because
people
complain. People complain when there's a lot left. So I personally think it's kind of smart in a sense, because it's kind of giving people what they want. I don't know.
Yeah, from a business side of things, it makes perfect sense. Because you can sell all of your product at once, get FOMO, to set in. You sell all of your NFTs. Everyone wants to get that last one. So
yeah.
And people have better chances of flipping.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think they've gone too far. Like obviously LA was it was too far in the open, there was way too many properties in LA. I think they've gone way too restrictive in, Buenos Aires and Sao Paulo, but I'm sure they'll around and find a middle ground. I mean,
right. Yeah.
I don't think we need everything to sell out in 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes an hour. I think you should, sell out within 24 hours would still be reasonable.
Yeah. That's kind of like what happened with Dallas and Arlington, wasn't it?
Yep.
Hmm.
Right. So yeah, I didn't do too much there, but we'll look to see how they expand. And next up, of course, the big massive news. Now, in last week's show, it might have been the UDU podcast, I think I said that we expect that. Yeah. Well, I said I expect outdoor structure. Sorry, I said outdoor. I mean structure ornament Metaventures would be coming in the first half of this year. And then what do you know? They dropped the announcement just after we got recording. So yes, structure ornament Metaventures are coming soon for both factories to make them yourself and for just resale showrooms. This is absolutely massive news.
Yeah. This is amazing. Like
Yes.
The first person I thought of was D-Tech. I was like, dude,
Me too.
You need a freaking factory for this. We had a meeting about it yesterday.
And what have you been saying, Cheese, for the last, I don't know,
build
5-6 months?
Fucking showrooms and be ready. Build your factories and
not just that, like have a plan. Get what you want to do in your head. Like we talked about this in Metaventure Adventures things we were putting out. You cannot underestimate how much work is involved in this. Like, and it even says in here, it says you need to let us know exactly what your plans are for all of the things you want to do. How many days and hours and weeks did we agonize on putting that massive list together for our submissions?
A lot. And this is not going to be easy. This is not going to be easy.
Yes.
Like if people think they're going to just be able to submit for a factory without having their whole year worth of designs or ideas worth of designs and schemas and this and that and colors and different variations and rarities, like they got another thing coming to them.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of time to handle a shop, as I've heard other people that UDU broadcasts or the other shows where there's a lot of time that goes in on the back end of this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's interesting that they've put this in here. So there's 3 avenues here. You can apply for just a resale structure ornament showroom. You can apply for just a structure ornament factory, or you can apply to run both. I think this is good because there's been so many people that have come along and say, hey, I don't want to deal with any of the selling. I just want to make shit. And then there's other people say, oh, well, I can't make anything, but I want to sell it. So this is really cool to kind of open that way up. And I think we'll eventually get to this point with the outdoor decor as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like outdoor decor has been famously bogged down on, it was 2 years between acceptance and then before we could actually open for business. And then the submissions approval process has been excruciating at times, as Jennifer and the team have worked through to kind of work out the systems that structure ornaments will use as well. Like we've only just started manufacturing the Christmas and Halloween ornaments that we submitted well before time last year. So hopefully this, with all of the massive amount of work that's going to come in for the Upland team with this, they have to expand the team. Hopefully that will lead to more support for outdoor decor as well, and open that up for more expansions as well. Like we want to see other outdoor decor participants jump in. We want to see that whole ecosystem grow and thrive. But yeah, don't underestimate the work that's involved on both the front end, the back end, just the personal communication side of things. Like, we're very lucky in that we are just a I'll say 3-man, but obviously Cheese is not a man, so it's a 3-person team, and you know, and you know, there's even not just us. You know, we're 3 very tight knit team, but you know, we still have to juggle time zones and you know, miscommunication dramas and all sorts of stuff.
Oh
so,
yeah.
It's a lot.
It happens like when stuff like this is involved, and you really need to get a hold of each other, and you know, tension runs, like, you know, you're gonna have issues, and if you're not able to talk them out, work them out, then you're gonna, like, something really great can be destroyed from it. So you have to also think of that when you start your partnership. You can't just be partners with anybody.
Yes, absolutely. So all of this is really, really cool. So yeah, I'm going to apply for a structure. I already had plans in place for a structure ornament showroom only. I have all my artwork ready to go. I have all my stuff ready to go. The one thing I didn't have was a showroom built. So I've got the UCC has me one in the pipeline that'll get built up soon, and I'll apply for that. And that'll just be that's just a pure resale one. So yeah, whether I know DTech's going to apply for, or is very highly likely to apply for, a factory and a showroom sort of situation. So if I was lucky to secure a showroom, it would be a resale outlet for those items predominantly. But yeah, no, this is all very cool. And as I said, I expect this same situation will bleed over to outdoor decor at some stage, because I know there's a hell of a lot of people wanting to get involved in that.
Yeah, like I would love to have Samurai Aquatics on the East Coast for our business. That would be amazing. Like, and if I could have a factory, you know, plus. Wait, but I wouldn't be able to build your stuff.
Well, we don't know. See, we don't know, because we have been told that we can operate. There will be an avenue for us to operate multiple factories.
Yeah.
Obviously, I could, even if I was allowed, if they said, okay, you can open a second factory, I don't have the spark. I've got 25.5 spark or something, and 25 of it's locked up in a large factory as it is. So yeah. And I know most of the other outdoor decor participants, they don't even have enough spark to fill up the large factory.
Yeah.
So, but then you'll get other people like, I think it's Expedia and Abdullah. There's a whole bunch of people that have squillions of spark. So maybe it opens up to them. So we'll have to wait and see. I thought this was interesting. The applicant must own a minimum of 6 structure ornaments. Well, I've got that covered. I think I might have over 400 or something crazy.
It's kind of like how they did the cars.
Yeah. KYC, that's easy. Blah, blah, blah. Not in Alcatraz. The applicant must agree to pay the monthly venture dues. We have seen dozens of Metaventures blink away because they haven't paid the venture dues. Yeah, as I said, don't underestimate the time and the costs involved. Even like TB125, who we have on the UDU podcast, he runs 2 Metaventures, the soccer legits, is it, and the car showroom. And the amount of work that he has to do, like juggling people who are trying to list stuff in your showroom and that sort of stuff, there's a lot of work. Yes. The Metaventure name cannot include the word Upland or any other IP. Yeah, so blah, blah, blah. I think all the rest of it is pretty stock standard, but all in all, very, very cool. How about yourself, Moon? You're interested in doing any sort of, I know you do a lot of layer 2 stuff, but interested in diving into any of the layer 1 opportunities?
I'm not at this time, because I know the amount of time that it would take. And I really love the structure ornaments. They're one of my favorite things, but I know it'll take a lot of time to be serious about it, and I would be one of those that would just pop up for a second or for a month or whatever and disappear.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. This was the other thing that stuck out to me. There's a few things here. The applicant must have a minimum of 3 spark at the time of application. 3 spark, unless the spark hour requirements on the structure ornaments are minuscule in comparison to decor, you're not going to get much built with 3 spark.
Yeah, not at all. Like I have 12.6 and I still feel like I need to catch up.
It must be such a difficult thing for them to balance, because obviously they want to make it accessible for lots of people, but if they open up if they make it too easy to create stuff, then the OGs that have a lot of spark, they're just going to dominate. They're just going to flood the market. So
yeah. I mean, like, it's possible. Like, you could do your standards. You just have to get the time. Like, even if it's staying up an hour later before you go to bed, just, treasure hunt, do the events, do whatever you need to do, sell stuff for USD.
Yes.
Buy your spark.
Yeah.
And this is the other one that kind of threw us for a bit of a six. The factory property cannot be part of another metaventure or metaventure application. So what we were setting up with Samurai Aquatics is eventually Cheese was going to run, a Bronx-based Samurai Aquatics factory and showroom. DTech was going to run the same thing somewhere else. However, with this information, we've had to think, hang on a minute here, we're probably going to have to pursue this in a different way. So we've had a few different chats about this, and we will probably go towards we'll go back to the UDU, the foundations of that was how node projects started, was individual node projects or individual neighborhood projects coming together to work under an umbrella. Yeah. So we kind of figure that our Metaventure Alliance will be a similar thing. So I've got Samurai Aquatics, Cheese might have Cheesy's freaking whatever, DTech's will have DTech's workshop, but we're not going to have 3 different bloody Discord servers and all of this stuff. There will be some kind of central umbrella brand.
Oh yeah.
That we all come together under. So
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, there's if you dive into this, there is a lot of information there, but if you read between the lines of what's there is a shitload of information here to digest.
Oh yeah. and especially the size factor, where it says you're not going to need that much space.
Yeah, that was a weird one, wasn't it? So
yeah.
Well, straight off the bat, there was a whole bunch of people that said, hang on a minute, I've built all these small factories, and now you're telling me I can't produce them in a small factory. Well, yeah, the max staking on a small factory is 2 spark. I think people have just completely missed the point where a small factory is essentially, it's there to create small things.
Yeah.
Whether it be, you might be like gnomes or something small like that, where you're pumping those out, or like what's
like signs or
letterboxes.
Yeah.
So I think they're far more gauged to that. So there's a few people that have built little tiny factories on big massive properties. Well, first of all, your factories, you're not gonna be able to do it. And that was the interesting point too, that unlike decor, where you have to have the items need to be stored on the factory lot, it doesn't appear to be the case for the structure ornaments. So how they're going to do it, that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see. But it is nice that, they are giving some leeway for the ornaments, the building ornaments in regards to size. Like, and it's funny, it's like if we were petty, we would be like, oh, what about us? What about outdoor decor? I don't care. Like, we had to adapt, we had to evolve, whatever. I'm glad that people who are going into this will have the chance to have as much stuff on their property as possible without, too much of a kerfuffle.
Yeah, there has been a bit of that bleed through, like What About Us has started to creep in a bit, but I think those people are missing the point that it's, what is it? A rising tide lifts all boats. A lot of the stuff that's going to happen here is going to bleed back. It is going to support, and a lot of the work that we've put in has helped Upland get to this point too. So, it's definitely a two-way street. You can throw your hands up in the air and say, woe is me, this isn't fair. We sat on the sidelines doing nothing for 2 years, or you could just get to work.
Yeah, just get to work. Exactly. Just get to freaking work.
Yeah, what you do now will pay off in spades later. It'll just take some time.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, I thought that was really cool. I was just spewing that we didn't get that come through when we were just talking about it, but yeah, really, really cool. And it appears that's open-ended. I didn't see an end date on that application process. So,
which is awesome, because they know how hard it is. Like, Upland knows through the outdoor decor beta how much we struggled and how much people are still struggling. So like, this is good that there's no real time frame, so people you know, don't say, oh, I don't have the time, so I'm not going to even try.
Should I do a little sneaky peeky at? Yeah, because I'm as soon as my showroom's built, I'm gonna apply.
Ooh, sneaky
Maybe I won't.
peekies.
No, I'll keep it under wraps for the time being. You know, Cheese, because I posted in Do Stuffs. So if you've been poking around, you would have seen it. But yeah, and I did go ahead and secure a property for that yesterday.
Oh yeah, don't show that.
Yeah. All right. All right. Moving on, just briefly, we'll touch on this too. So we did see that they're doing a lot of stuff now with city halls. Like this was talked about way back in the day, where this was back before Metaventurers were a thing. I applied to have a business license. I was granted a business license, and all of that terminology got changed. They moved away from a business license model to this Metaventure model. So yeah, it is seem like there's going to be a lot more stuff to do in city halls, anything sort of official, which is kind of cool. Adds a kind of realistic metaversey aspect to it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Although, yeah, they're still doing block explorers and all that sort of stuff from there. So yeah, I think that's really cool.
I like how they're making it. It reminds me of Yankee Stadium, how when they made the new Yankee Stadium, while it was in the process of making, the old Yankee Stadium was still across the street from it. That was so cool to see.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I wonder, will they have the link for the, what is it, the executive object? I wonder if that'll still be there.
The statue that you get when you upgrade to executive.
Yeah.
I believe I upgraded to executive as soon as that was available. And I had submitted my application for that statue within hours of it first becoming available. And it was still nothing. I would have long since, because you had to nominate the property it was going to be put on. I would have that property's long gone. Like years ago, I would have sold that property. So I don't know what they're going to do there. I think my original submission was like a pair of golden flip-flop sandal jandals or thongs. Obviously, I'd change that now, but yeah.
I went a bit more vain. And I just like submitted a big block of like my BE,
there
like
you
a
go.
big roar.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hope they're going to stick to that, but my gosh, they've got a backload of work to run.
Yeah. I never even submitted one. I was waiting to think inspiration to hit me and never did.
Yes, I should have waited because I just submitted the first thing that popped into my head, and it was a shit idea.
That's yeah. I mean, I feel your pain. That's how I got my Block Explorer. It's just it looks like an old cookie. it's supposed to be the moon, and like a week later, I sent an application. I sent a follow-up email like, hey, here's I came up with this avatar, and sent that in, and I said, hey, if you have time, great, pick that instead, but I got the cookie, so it's okay.
Yes. Oh, good. All right. And of course, so that wasn't the only massive news that dropped. We did have the biggest news of all, especially for Cheese. I imagine you probably burnt your fingers getting your credit card out on this one.
Yes, I did.
Genesis week, June 8 to 9, Las Vegas again.
So I got the email at 2:38 Pacific time PM 3 days ago or 2 days ago on the 22nd or the 21st, somewhere around there. And my ticket was purchased an hour later.
Yeah. Yes. So because last year you missed out on you weren't in the top, hotel that it was.
Yeah. I missed. Well, that wasn't Upland's fault because there still were hotels in free rooms for not for free rooms available.
Yeah.
But we wanted to try a hotel we haven't tried before, and that was on us, and that was a big mistake because we spent a lot of money in cab fare going back and forth. Now that I'm in the Sahara, it's going to be a lot better.
How about yourself, Moon? You heading over for this one?
No, if I do decide to go, it'll be at the end of it. At the end of the possibility to set up for it. I don't think so at this point.
It was fun last year.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I can imagine that this year's event will be 2, 3, 5 times the size of last year's.
I think so.
I think there was a lot of people last year that kind of went, maybe, no, I'm not going to go this one. And then they saw all the fun and the FOMO really kicked in. I don't think they're going to hesitate this time around. So.
See, Prado's coming. I'm more than positive Musita might come, but I know he has a baby now. But I have a feeling a lot of the Brazilian players will start coming in. I know a couple of people from Japan came, which was amazing. Like I got to meet, gosh, I don't remember his name, but he was so super friendly. He does a podcast over in Japan for Upland, and that was super cool. Like just bringing the freaking world together.
Yes. Yeah, I do listen to that podcast every now and then just to see if I can pick up my old skills, but yeah, I'm very, very rusty.
I told him all about you. It's so exciting, and I could bring my Ben doll. I don't know where I put it. It's somewhere, but I could finally be extra weird and bring my plushie.
Hopefully your cats have hidden it.
Not that well.
Yes.
What?
Oh God, yes.
Ben, what do you think about this event? My butt itches. I'm an old man.
Do you have pins for it to stick into it?
Yes.
Oh my God, if you could supply me with some voiceovers, I could put a recorder inside and press a button.
Yeah. You can just stick to the impressions. I think you got that covered. Yes. Yeah. I'd love to go, but yeah, our big trip this year is we're going to Japan for a month, so that burns me up. So that's the end of that.
Zoe might be going.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
that's
it's
cool.
22-hour flight. That's crazy.
It ain't no joke. Yeah. It's a long, long way.
If I was ever going to go to Australia, I would see if they have like a cruise.
Yes, that would be a hell of a long cruise, but yeah, 22-hour flight. That you're probably talking by the time you do, you got to be at the airport 3 hours earlier. You got to do transfers, and that it's probably more like a 36-hour flight.
Well, it's 22 with the transfers, like because we're on the west, we're closest to the west coast. I would think you could just fly over that water right there, like it is from New York to Finland is only 8 hours.
Oh, because Zoe could go direct from Sydney, I would imagine. So she's still got to get there. So you got to be at the airport 3 hours earlier for international. So yeah, it's a big trip. Like we're looking in that even just for us going back to Japan, it's a 9-hour flight, but we have to go to Cairns. We can't fly direct, so it's a 2-hour flight to Cairns, and then you've got a 3 hours in between. So we're looking at 18 hours of travel by the time we leave the house to by the time we get to the hotel. So yes, which it's all right now because the kids are a lot older. It was, man, that wasn't much fun when you're juggling a baby and a pram and all of the other stuff. So
yeah, I can imagine.
Yes, but yeah, sure. Genesis Week this year is going to be off the charts, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It would be so cool if they did offer that OG thing for chief executive, but for their family, that I don't know, that would just be cool. I know that would be like a lot of vacation for you this year, but it would be just so cool to have you there.
Oh, even if I had the money and the time, I would not leave to go on an international trip without my family. That's just not going to happen.
No, I'm saying if they paid for your family.
Oh yeah, no, that never happened. That's like you're talking. I'd hate to think how much that costs. 5 people for a trip from the Gold Coast to Las Vegas. It'd probably be about 15 grand just in airfares.
15 grand. Wow.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous.
You could get a rowboat and just start going now.
Yeah.
Or I could just sit on the couch in my underpants eating Cheetos and watching the live streams.
Oh, maybe I'll get one of those VR cameras and record it from my glasses.
Yeah, because we didn't last year. We talked about doing something, and we just kind of took a break. So we'll definitely have to do something this year. And
then Goldie's going, so I can like invite him to be like a guest host for the Whine and Cheese.
Yeah, well, that's right too. That's a lot of podcasts do that when the other hosts can't be on. Like I said, I'm going to Japan for a month. I'm not sure what the situation is going to be there as far as hosting shows and whatnot, but should be all right, but we'll just have to wait and see. All right, we need to hurry up and get through this because we got to dive into the Moon's cool stuff. Cheese, you found these 2 articles. Yeah, we'll do this one first.
This is awesome. When I first saw this, I'm like, why isn't there more news on this? It's like, so YouTube's new CEO is betting big on NFTs in the metaverse. Yes. So what does this mean, Ben?
Well, I don't know. I told you before we got kicked off that I did have a ping come through that YouTube is now allowing, there's a podcast featuring process there. So I did last night, I set up way past my bedtime and set up the UDU podcast and the Whine and Cheese show as podcasts within the YouTube studio kind of back. You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do in the back end there. So
yeah, and like
so I can only assume it's related, that they're heading more in that direction.
Yeah, so like Web3 presents new opportunities for creators who can foster deeper connections between creators and fans while providing new revenue streams. He has discussed integrating new technologies into the video sharing platform. This is welcome news for crypto and NFT fans. So if you scroll down, it explains more, which is the quote that I sent to you from this thing, which is freaking huge. So
was it down further? Was it in quotes? Oh, no, it must be near somewhere because this is
it. So it's like, all right, so pretty much, hold on. Hold on.
You're right.
I'm squirreling.
As the second most popular website in the world after Google.
I got it.
Yep.
So Mohan has exciting plans for YouTube. He imagines creators using NFTs to give fans verifiable ownership of unique videos, photos, art, and experiences. Like that right there is freaking huge.
Yes, he pointed out that YouTube is looking to help creators make more money and build their businesses. He believes that technologies like NFTs could create a new revenue stream, not only for creators, but also for fans and viewers. However, Mohan has recognized the need to approach these new technologies safely. Yeah.
So it's like a POAP for your favorite podcaster. Like, you know how we do the challenges, if you do this, like people can actually, hey, I have this NFT from viewing this or whatnot. And it's just really awesome way to kind of reward your viewers.
Yes. Well, you want somebody who's in control of this to be on board with Web3 and, you know, to not be a fudder. And it definitely seems like this is the case. Obviously, yes. I would imagine it's going to be slow and steady and it'll have to be heavy regulated and whatnot. But yeah, no, as we keep saying, it's all heading in this direction.
Yes. So this is exciting. I can't wait to see how it unfolds.
Yes. Speaking of exciting and unfolding, now you found this one too, which I laughed my ass off.
This was freaking hilarious. So Columbia just held a court hearing in the metaverse, cartoon avatars and all. How do you take this seriously? First of all, second of all, this is amazing.
So are we going back to Upland again? Are we going to have, you know, courtroom decisions? You know, you gotta...
Dude, can you imagine courtroom for people in Alcatraz to like state their
case? Yep.
That would be amazing. And then like people can view, you could get into the courtroom for a price to view it.
Yes.
I would pay to view. That would be fucking awesome.
Which that's kind of funny, but that's a gamification of it. But this is real life, Cheese. This is like people going to jail, getting like fines.
Yeah. I mean,
Colombia last week became one of the first countries in the world to host a court hearing in Meta's Metaverse. Lawmakers in the South American nation held a 2-hour hearing using Horizon workrooms, a meta platform, yada, yada, yada. Colombian lawyers put on virtual headsets to take part, and the meeting was live. Here we go, live streamed on YouTube. Those attending appeared in the meeting as computer-generated avatars. Imagine getting a summons. You have to appear in virtual reality court as a, you know, what do they call it? Not a witness.
Oh.
I'm blanking on the word. What is it? help me out, Moon. You're a
A
What?
defendant.
no, the people that the general knuckleheads from the community that decide if you're guilty.
Oh, in the jury,
yes,
jury
the
members?
jury duty. Yes,
Mhm.
That would be so
I got-
convenient. I would
I got-
do it.
yeah, I got called up for jury duty once, and it was a pain in the ass.
Yes, it is.
It absolutely sucked all the balls. Yes. So yeah, again, going back to being able to do that in my underpants on the couch eating Cheetos sounds good to me. Pop a headset on. Sure, I'll take the day off work.
This one guy goes, I feel it takes away from the seriousness of the case. If I want to
You
see
think?
myself in a dinosaur character, is that also acceptable?
Oh God.
That'd be
But-
amazing.
But devil's advocate here, we have said all along through the history of this show that mainstream adoption of all of these technologies is going to come through bureaucracy and shit like that. It's
And
you
it's
know.
a convenience, you know,
As-
like you
yeah.
could do stuff like this on your phone. Like not a lot of people can travel to a courtroom, but you know, they can get their hands on a phone, whether you borrow it from a friend or, you know, you
Yep.
just get like a real cheap one or whatnot.
yes. So it's adoption's going to come from boring, bureaucracy like this, or it's going to come from, the sex industry and that sort of thing. So it's just the way the world works.
Adult
So, yeah,
entertainment, as BC for fun calls it.
sure, whatever
That
floats your boat.
That was a cafe, Goldie's Cafe show statement from him.
Yes. Well,
That's
this is a good
hilarious.
point here.
Love you, BC. Virtual court hearings and meetings generally become the norm in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah.
So it's just the natural evolution of that process that was already kind of put in place that people got familiar with. So
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
already as far as court hearings are concerned, there's, that's the norm too. The judge is remote in a lot of cases. They're doing that through video conferencing, so it's just one step past that. It's a little strange to us now, but
yes. And do you remember when this happened? Geez, this next bit, the sudden over-reliance on the technology met some weird and wacky situations. A Texas lawyer, seemingly unaccustomed to using the platform Zoom, got stuck as a kitten when he couldn't change a video filter. My God, that was funny. I laughed my ass off at that. That was so funny. Some
Yeah.
crusty old lawyer stuck with his kid's kitten freaking filter on. So, yeah. So I wonder what it was actually about. So yeah, and then it goes on to a bit of yada yada yada, but yeah, that's very cool. All right, we got all that under wraps. We got all that out of the road. Meat and potatoes time.
Meat and potatoes. Moon. Pour us a hot steaming cup of Moonunit.
well,
I'll never get
you know,
used to that.
yeah, I know. I tell you. No, I'm just a mid-40s family guy. I've got a beautiful wife, a handsome son. I work a 9 to 5, like a lot of us that are doing Upland do, and have our main source of income and doing this on the side. So I'm doing that too. I develop software for a auto parts manufacturer in Eastern United States, and I got into crypto trading early on. I think when I first came onto the scene, Bitcoin was $10 a piece.
Wow.
And
Wow.
we would be having a completely different conversation about work if I had bought at $10 a piece. But anyway, like a lot of people, I missed the boat on that one. But yeah, I started out with crypto, and then really Upland was my first foray into NFTs. I saw a Brave ad, and I ignored it for a few weeks, and then jumped in March of 2021. My first property bought was in Brooklyn, and my first city release was Bakersfield. And yeah, I mean that kind of got me here, and I got a chance to meet a lot of interesting people, yourselves included.
Yeah,
and-
you're a pretty big supporter of the Whine and Cheese show, which is amazing.
Oh, it's
Thank
amazing.
you.
I love it. Thanks for having me on. Love the show. Huge fan, as you know. When I got into Upland, I wanted to soak up everything that I could. So,
That's
anything
smart.
that I could find, you guys really, were the anchor to that. So I started watching.
Aw.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So I really, I hold on, hang on to every word. I don't miss a one. It might take me sometimes a few days to catch it. I'll listen at work, but yeah, I never miss it.
That's cool. Thank you for that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And so how I know you're doing some stuff now in regards to spatial and that other word that you used.
Oh, like Unity
Unity.
and game development. Yeah. So
Were you always into that, or did you become into that through Upland?
I came into that through Upland. So huge shout out to Deshak, I think I'm saying her name right. She had a Blender tutorial, and I know DTech's awesome, by the way. DTech is making tutorials now for Blender, but the first one that I had was Deshak's, and I was like, wow, I can do this. I can actually follow some YouTube videos and do this sort of thing, and so that kind of got me into creating creating other items, and then ultimately into Unity, because creating games, I create software already, and so doing code, it just comes naturally. So sitting in front of a computer making stuff is okay. I can do that.
And it's fun. You enjoy it, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. So now I'm working with TML at Epic's World, and the great team there, and learning new things. Land for Land, I created a coin. That's what I did after I did the Blender tutorials. I created a coin, and Land for Land put it in one of his initial demos for Epic's World, and I was just blown away, to get to do that. So it was amazing. Huge shout out to him too for giving me that opportunity.
And it just goes back to what I was saying before. Like, Upland is such a great place to network and meet people and find out what you really want to do. Like, people are finding out their niche in life through Upland. And you showed us, you actually reached out to us not so long ago and showed us some really cool stuff that you were interested in kind of doing and working with us on. And it blew me, Ben and D-Tech, away. Do you want to talk more about that? Because you're actually looking to make a business off of that. And I think that's genius, freaking genius.
I saw of course, you guys are setting, kind of blazing the trail on that as far as making money in the metaverse kind of thing. So I'm kind of following in your footsteps. But yeah, I want to, I'm working for Epic's World now, and doing this. I want to make custom spaces. This is early times for metaverse ventures, across the entire metaverse, and so this is a good time to start learning and to build, just like a lot of us are doing. So it's a good time to just break new grounds. I broke so many things learning. Like, you guys have been following my chats for the last few days. I couldn't get spatial to work the way that I thought it should, and so that's just part of learning. Break it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly.
See how else you could put it together.
Yeah,
it's a lot more innocent than saying skinning a cat.
Yeah, there's more than one way.
There's more than one way. Ben knows.
Literally.
Oh God, stop.
You hate my slaughterhouse stories.
I hate them. So should we jump into how it looks fun, or do you have any questions before we get into those meat and potatoes?
I guess like obviously you have ideas come to you, and like the stuff that Cheese is saying where you reached out to us and showed us a few things. Obviously you've been working on that for a while. How do you kind of keep track of that all? You know, I know from when I did game development, it's when you're in that early phase, like you've done a couple of tutorials, and I did the same thing with game making. I did a couple of early tutorials, and I was like, holy crap, I can actually, what I can picture in my head, I can do some clickety clacking and it can come to life. Then you just imagination runs wild, and then you kind of almost have, there's too many options there, and it's feature creep is something we always talk about. It's a massive thing. How do you kind of narrow your focus to, you know, work through these sort of things?
Well, that's actually a good point, because like we've kind of talked in back channels about things. When I first had the idea to, you know, I wanted to create spaces for people, especially through the network through Upland. You know, I'm thinking as I got into it and realized how much time it's going to take.
Yes.
I have to rein myself back. The excitement, just like a lot of us, our excitement can kind of exceed what is reality, right? Yep. And so I can, you know, I want to do this for you guys, what we're getting ready to show. You know, that's fun to do and to show, and I'm learning as I go. But then I realize, you know, I've got to throttle it back. I have to do what I can. So as far as managing time, that's how I'm doing it. I have to cut back because, you know, I want to do good work for Epic's World. I need to work for them and do a good job. We have, you know, kind of I have a commitment to them. And so you just kind of have to do what you can and make sure you manage expectations.
Yeah, especially when you're doing this on top of, like you said, your in real life job, your family commitments, everything like that as well. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
We've Cheese and I have talked to this with dozens of NFT people and people in the Web3 space. Like, you ride that line between this is your hobby and you get more and more deeply invested in your hobby, and then it suddenly becomes your job and you've lost your hobby.
You know? Yeah, that's right.
Now, I think you're a prime example of somebody who under promises and over delivers. And when we push share screen on this, it will make perfect sense. If you're listening on the Spotify, you will want to get yourself over and check it out on the YouTubes at some stage. Oh, because this is just.
Shoot, wait,
Cheese has disappeared again. She's down saying hello to random people.
There we go.
So, originally Moonunit, he showed us our outdoor. Actually, if I turn the camera around, you should be able to see it. Oh, my laptop's going to freak out. Yeah. Originally, you showed us our outdoor seating with fire pit, like in an outdoor environment with a fire crackling. And oh, look, there's some random person running down the hill.
Yeah, we've had a few join. Yeah.
Yeah, You showed us that and we're like, holy crap, this is amazing. You know, we really want you to pursue this. We'll work with you to do that. And then you kind of went away and you've been working on it. You freaking delivered a whole universe here. Look, it's Samurai Aquatics Islands. There's stuff everywhere. There's a big, massive Samurai Surfer statue. Yeah, talk about over deliver. What do you think, Cheese?
I love this. I couldn't get enough. Like, when we should have got in here when we, like, right now during the show, because all my excitement and giddiness was like,
yeah, we kind of missed it, didn't we? Yes. Now the cool part of this is you have made this so, like, we can all go and sit down on this couch. Mm-hmm. We can go over there and sit down and we can check things out. We can scroll around. Yeah, where else should we go, Cheese? Should we go down and check out some of the other stuff?
Wait, I told this person to come stand with us for podcasting.
Yeah, I don't know. They're zapping about all over the place. They're like, what's going on?
There's a few.
Show. Oh, they're approaching us very cautiously. That's funny. Yeah, no, this is really cool.
On
So
camera.
like we know how hard you've been working on this and how long you've been working on it, but just for the listeners and watchers, can you give us an indication of what has been involved in setting this up? Because this is within Spatial, but you haven't created this in Spatial.
That's right. I read early on when actually shout out to Elijah for making us aware of this, and so after that I became interested in it, wanted to see, and especially since you can do it with Unity. This is what I've been working on. This is about a couple of weeks off and on, maybe 3, of just creating this. And so it was starting out in Unity, and that's creating the background. So like when you go to Spatial, you can create, or you can go in and create templates or pick templates that are already made. But if you want, for example, your Earth to spell out your logo, you have to start out in something custom. And so that's what I was using Unity for. The idea just kind of came to me for doing that custom to you guys in your brand, to make a special space. And then, most of these objects were just placed, like you could grab your own objects and place them there. Some of them are custom. And some of them are custom, of course, but others aren't. And I'm just kind of learning, like I said, I broke it, and I'm still breaking it, trying to figure things out. Because if you look at this on mobile, it looks awful. So it needs to be optimized, and it still looks, in a way, there's way more things I could do, like the grass, needs to be better and things like that. But just learning, just starting out.
Absolutely. I'm just getting squirreled here myself. I went on a wild boat ride. And I'll come back on that. Yes. I don't know, Cheese. What are you squirreled on? You get your head down?
I'm trying to get this person involved in Upland.
Oh, you're spamming for a new subscriber. Awesome.
Well, that's another thing. You could use this. I don't know if they have NPCs yet, but of course you can put up, as other people have put up stickies, to say, come visit us at our shop, it's so and so. And I meant to say this earlier, I created the land and all that, but it's DTech's work, y'all's work on your brand that is what needs to pop, and it does.
Yeah, no, DTech was really excited to see it come to life, and especially we can sit down here, we can have a conversation. The next iteration, I guess, of all of this would be that we could actually stream the podcast like live as these characters within these kind of environments. I guess is that where this is all headed, do you think?
I think you could, because you have audio support. It just depends on how well that works out. So I'll sit down.
Can we light this fire?
It is lit, actually. It may be because of your rendering, maybe on another PC. It may show up. Yeah, it does on mine.
Mine is my PC is like amazing.
And it's not showing?
No.
Okay. So I did publish before this. Like I said, that's another thing I'm learning. I had some problems uploading, but it took like 5 hours before it actually published. And so one of those versions from earlier today didn't have the fire lit. So maybe it's that version that's pushed out to your client. That may be what's going on.
All right. Should we try and jump on this boat and go for a ride?
Yeah, let's go jump on the boat. All you have to do is click on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I missed it. I landed on the island.
I'm going to have to wait for it to come around.
Come back.
Come on. Oh, I missed it. There we go.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I landed in the water. Glug, 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 glug.
Glug, 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 glug. Wait, I'm going to try to catch it.
Maybe I can jump up here.
I'm going to have to hide stuff there. The water.
You need like an escape hatch down here. I'm stuck in this. Wonder if I can
I'm going to be making one for Epic's World. I'm going to be making a space for them, and I'll have to hide some stuff. Everybody likes that.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Where'd you go?
I'm like standing right on Moonunit. Hold on,
Oh,
I'm
hi.
trying to click on the seat. Oh my God. There we go.
I mean, it is all, like I said, it is all very new and kind of a bit clunky and whatnot. But yeah, it's where this is all going to head it's really exciting. Right,
I think of this as this is the early days of, you know, when we could all create websites for ourselves. We did. They weren't very
Yes.
interesting when it was just, you know, an individual's website, but businesses and brands, you know, really need an outlet for people to come to. And
Yep.
so I think this is a great, it's the first iteration of it. It's going to seem really funny in a few years, you know, what this is, but it's a way to meet and greet in groups too, meet and greet the people that are interested in you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're playing Snake basically on the old Nokia phones.
Nokia.
Yeah.
Yes. So no, it's very cool. And I love how did you have to play around with the scaling? Like, I know that all of the items that we've got here, the Samurai Aquatics decor items, they are all really well to scale.
Yeah, most of them I didn't have to really change a lot.
Yep.
I changed them to scale 3. By the way, if you do put your objects in, I scaled most of them to 3, and then the swing I did increase that one a little bit to make it more realistic with the avatar. You just stand the avatar next to it, and you kind of get an idea.
Yes.
Can we swing on the swing?
No, I just tried to sit on it and it didn't let me sit on it.
Oh.
Maybe. And one of the things that I should say is not to scale is of course the samurai surfer statue. Holy moly. That is a beast.
I love that. I love how big that is.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I thought it would look good as there's a new statue. It's huge, and I believe it's in India. And I thought that should stand out. Yeah, it should stand out.
Yeah, I was just trying to say hello to him too, but I think he's NPC.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Not a lot of action going on there. Poor old Pilo, he's brain dead.
Oh, I don't know.
Yes, I'm gonna. Oh, I keep missing this damn boat. Can't get on.
You gotta click on the seat.
I had it before while you were up on the hill. I was going around and around. So yes. No, that's very cool. Where do you see yourself heading with that, say, in the next 1 to 2 months? Obviously, we can talk big picture, like we know where this is probably going to eventually get to, but what are some of the steps you think, or some of the roadblocks that are in the way that you can see for us to get there?
To get there for what? To create spaces like this for myself personally, or do you mean for companies to kind of get their to kind of get this out there?
Because we've talked in the history of this show, like a lot of the think of fast food or fashion or anything like that, it's very much primed for these sort of NFT supported Web3 immersive spaces. Like, we know that's where we're going to get. We're not going to we're not going to be walking down the street with virtual reality headsets on. We may be walking down the streets with the VR AR glasses. That may be a thing. Like, that's very big picture. So if we walk into a McDonald's, there's going to be various pop-ups. We might be able to enter some kind of virtual space within that. That's like the end goal.
Right.
How do we get there?
One little piece at a time. I mean, that's really what it's going to have to be. Is like, this is just small little baby steps and iterations.
Tell us the meaning of life, Moonunit.
Well,
I know what you're getting at. Yeah,
because you've been playing around with it. So obviously you would. I know when I started game development, I didn't come from a coding background, so a lot of the roadblocks I faced were personal ones where I had to get my head around the code. The software at the time was far more advanced than my personal skills were. So the roadblock was always me. I could advance as much as I put the time and effort in, but I feel like in this space, that's not the case. Like you as yourself, you're a coder. I'm sure that you're probably at the point where you could probably do a lot more, but do you have the tools available yet?
Yeah, I believe I do. It's just time. It's like what we talked about before. It's having the time and what you want to put it on. I'm standing, and like a lot of us, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, right? That have made things easy for me to do. I can watch I'm a few YouTube videos away from doing something, right? Because there's great people that have made those YouTube videos, and there's great people that have made the tools that I'm using. And it's just a matter of being willing to learn. You know, a lot of us that are doing this sort of thing, we just love to learn, right?
Mhm.
And it's just the ability, you know, the want to harness that, to do it. And we all ebb and flow in those desires, you know.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, we said at the start of this year, we said 2023 is the year of user generated content, I think. And Cheese and I kind of primed ourselves to cover a fair bit of that at the front end. That's some of the stuff that we're seeing within the small upland community is just amazing. And what's really cool from me to see is most of it is from people who are just learning this stuff, essentially like yourself or Slav or other people. They're learning it from scratch, basically.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's just a matter of wanting to, and then focusing on it, like put out all the distractions. You know, when I went for my development career, which was later in life, you know, just like yourselves, you know, you have to put the other things aside and focus on this so that you can make something of it.
It's Cheese. I rage at Cheese all the time. Like, look at this fucking clown saying, "Oh, sorry, I couldn't do that. I don't have time. You know, I'm too busy." Everybody's busy.
Everybody's busy. Look at fucking Ben. He's got 3 kids. He's got like a hard job to do.
I got a wife who works night shifts, so I'm juggling the kids.
He wakes up at like 3 a.m. sometimes to get these shows done. Like, it's crazy to do meetings, Samurai Aquatic meetings. Like, and not only does he have like Upland, he has Samurai Aquatics, he has Whine and Cheese, he has the UDU podcast. He you know, has all these freaking ideas that he comes to me with. And it's crazy. I tell him, like, and I keep saying this on the show, like, if I ever win the lotto, I'm going to set you up so that you and your wife don't ever have to work. And like, we could just be creative on the freaking computer the whole time.
I don't whine. I don't whine that I'm too busy and I don't have enough time. I complain, or I apologize for not having enough time. You know, that's
me
a different
too.
thing.
Yeah. And Cheese, don't discount yourself. You're
absolutely.
You're working hard as well.
No, me, I not only do I have Upland, but I have a separate metaverse business called Avalon the Druids that I co-founded with Mass Chef and Dak. And we have a 4th founder called Adamus that I actually got to that from finding him in Digicon and bringing him onto the Whine and Cheese show.
Yeah, that was a good interview, by the way.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my God, it's just getting better and better because me and Dak and Mash, we play every day.
Yes. And plus, you know, you've got your day trading as well, and you've got 300,000 cats you're trying to take care of. Yeah.
Oh, and my art is nonstop. Like
that's the big one for me.
Oh
anyway.
my God, I have like a freaking list of things I still need to do, but I love it. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy
it. Well, see, that's back at you, kind of taking that same question. You know, how do you balance, you know, all of the people that are probably asking you to do that, you know?
I don't. I'm so unorganized.
Cheese goes, I'm taking a week off to game, and she just disappears for a kind of a week. She sticks to her commitments, but then she'll get in the groove and she'll just pump out shit like crazy.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do. Yeah. And that makes sense. You have to take care of yourself to take care of others, you know?
Yeah. And you created a really nice Discord for us, Ben, that do stuff. And that's really been putting helping me get more organized. I am not organized. I'm impressed with Ben's organization skills.
Well, I'm at the extreme opposite because I've got so much going on. I have to be super organized. So how do you balance this? Like, as somebody else who has a family and commitments, that are you there's always you're either a morning person or you're a night person. Are you get the kid to bed and stay up late Is this when you're doing all your coding, or are you like me, get up?
Yeah,
early?
I'm early morning. Have been
Yeah.
for a really long time in my career. I'm not. I really need to kind of. I know you've talked about in previous episodes where you have goals and you have them set, and I really should do that. But mine is more kind of pushing against the anxiety. If I make a list, it takes away the anxiety for me, as to, instead of this cloud that's hanging above me
Yeah.
of things to do, if I write it down, then I can take away, step by step, I can take it away.
Yeah, I've been trying to get DTech to switch to being a morning person too, because I know I fell into this trap. If you're an evening person, you get in that flow state where everything's clicking, and the next minute you look at the clock and it's 4 a.m. Well, you got to start getting ready for work at 6 a.m.
Right.
So when I switch to a morning, it's first of all, you can't kind of procrastinate and get distracted, because you've got your 2 or 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. This is the time you've got. If you waste it, then it's gone. Yeah. So interesting.
I'm so grateful you're a morning person, Ben, because I'm one of those night people. Yeah. And the only way I wake up is to do my stocks, and I am miserable. Like, you don't want to see me at my AM.
Yeah, it just works out well with the time zone difference. It actually, for once, it works out well.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So we know you're kind of dabbling in this and that and the other thing. Plus, you're working on some, is it contract-based stuff with the TML's project?
Yeah, he's incorporated. So I'm working with him for shares. And so that's, I have a lot of faith in what's going to happen with that going forward. I appreciate the vision of the company, and so I'm happy to kind of trade my time for the future of that platform.
Yep. So do you think this is something that you'll angle more and more into? Like, it gets to that point where, as I said before, it kind of blurs the lines between, hang on a minute, this is becoming a real life job that could potentially pay the bills, or is it purely hobby based?
Yeah, that's I know from previous episodes, kind of where you've talked about that. It's and like you said, if you do this all the time, then it becomes work. Anything that you would rather be doing, it's not. I saw a quote the other day that said, if it wasn't, it's work if you'd rather be doing something else. And so if you spend all your time doing the other thing, then that. But yeah, I could see that someday. It just depends on, kind of how things work out. It's all about making, paying the bills. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I fell into that trap. There was that, what's the famous quote? Do what you love and you never work a day in your life. That's a load of horseshit.
I don't know.
Well, for me, I was a hobby aquarist. So I had like 10, 15 fish tanks in my apartment. And then my girlfriend at the time, kind of took me into, because, I was a grade 10 dropout. Like, I dropped out of high school and started working in factories. She convinced me well, you could do this at university and study to be an aquaculturist and make this your job. And I thought she was crazy at the time, but I looked into it and I pursued that path. 6 years at university later, and I was a full-time aquaculturist. I had a very difficult job, but it was extremely mentally rewarding and that sort of thing. It became a job. It was a grinding job. I was getting up at God knows AM to fix all these troubles. And then I eventually stopped doing fish tanks because I was too busy working. I couldn't look after all these fish tanks. So it's kind of a weird situation.
Yeah. It just, anything that you do that, everything turns into a grind at some point. But I'm definitely doing what I love now versus when I first started out in my career. After, I was a manager at a pharmacy and I hated it. I hated every second of it.
Yeah.
And so writing software for a living, Absolutely. You know, I found my calling. I'm glad that I did.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think probably the key point that gets missed in that conversation is financial freedom. If you have financial freedom, then it's a different story.
That's a completely different story. It's like you said, when Cheese, when you give him the money for, I'm telling you, like you said, you give him the money from the lottery, he's gone. And I would do the same thing.
Speck on the horizon. Yes.
I would do the same thing.
Well, if you know what, I said this to my wife yesterday. We have the Powerball lottery here on Thursday nights, and Thursday night I'd finally got the kids squared away, and I just turned everything off. I was getting into bed. I was like, "Holy shit! I forgot to buy the Powerball." So I turned my laptop back on, and there was 3 minutes to go before it closed. So I got the ticket. By the time I get all the credit card details in, it was literally seconds to spare. Bought the ticket, went to bed. I woke up, and there was an email saying, "Congratulations, you've won." And there was missed calls on my phone. Like, we have a registered account. So if you're the big winner, they call you up. And I was like, "Oh, here we go, baby." But no, it was $10. And the missed call was for something completely unrelated.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Yes. It was 20 million.
That's as
That would
bad
have
as-
certainly done it.
Oh yeah, that would have done it.
Yeah.
That's as
Like,
bad
where'd
as
you
those
go?
fake scratch offs.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Never mind. All right, Chase, is there anything else? Did you want to check out anything else in that spatial thing, or you're going to pick Moon's brain?
Well, I want to ask, like, what do you see for yourself in the future? Like, do you have any, like a this is all very new. You just kind of came to us. Do you have like a website set up, or like a Discord, or are you just kind of like taking it as it comes and that will come later?
Yeah, right now I'm just kind of taking it as it comes. So if anybody wants to reach out to me, Twitter or Discord, that would be fine. So right now, I did actually, if I had time, I intended to have kind of my office, right? And then you would walk into that in the spatial, and then you would portal to what we've seen today. But I'll have to set it up later. So I would rather set up and spend my time creating for you guys and for businesses than for myself. So.
Yeah.
All right. So if anybody wants to contact you, they can reach you as Moonunit on Discord, and your Twitter, is that the same? Is it
It
is _Upland with double zeros. That'll be in the description.
We'll definitely have that in the description. What about
Okay.
so like for a challenge, if I do an NFT, because I still have a lot of stuff to do, I would say just comment, send Moonunit a tweet saying, "Hey, hi Moonunit," and tag Morecheese. Oh, what? Yeah,
that's fine if you want to do that, or bring them into the Samurai Aquatics Discord. You know, that would be great. Just say hi to me there, and that would work. Or YouTube comments. It's up to you guys.
All right, so yeah, tag him in our Samurai Aquatics.
Yes, or we better put the Twitter out there because people
the
are
Twitter
exceptionally lazy. We have learnt on the UU podcast. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Now that sounds very cool.
This was awesome. Thank you for coming in and talking about this. This was really awesome. I see huge things for you. Honestly, like this is the beginning of something huge.
I think so.
Oh, I think you're breaking up, Moon.
Thank you.
There you go. Okay. Well, Ben, you want to do a little dance for us to take us out?
I don't know the controls for dancing.
Look at you! Oh my God! Oh man!
I don't know how to do it.
It's that happy face on the bottom left. Get out of there. Exit out of that.
I don't even know how to get out of it.
This is that little X.
All
right.
This one.
On the bottom left, there's and then dance. Do a little dance. Pop and lock, baby. There we go. Ben's getting down with his bed. Oh, you froze. Oh, there you go.
And dramatic pose at the end. Yes.
Dramatic
nice.
pose.
There you
Right. Yes,
So-
super awesome stuff.
Yeah. So shall I take us out?
I believe so. Oh,
Stay-
can I put a request in for next week?
Yes.
Try and get some better jokes. Holy shit. You nearly killed me at the start of this show.
They're supposed to kill you. The badder they are, the better they are.
Righto. All right.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Go ahead, get your pinky up. Top of wine and cheese, motherfucker. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Top of wine and cheese, motherfucker. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Go ahead, get your pinky up.
You let fire samurai riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get off your drive. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. You let fire samurai riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky. You let fire samurai riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get off the drive. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. You let fire samurai riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky. Time for wine and cheese. Wine and cheese. 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 Time for wine and cheese.
G'day Apex millionaires and trendsetters. Do you have some beautiful beachfront property in the Upland Metaverse that needs a bit of spunking up? Then jump on over to 30 Aqua Vista Way and check out all our available stock. Woo!